Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday to all of you. I wasn't planning to record the video for YouTube today, for the Patreon instead. However, tonight or tomorrow you will have a brand new video on Patreon and locals that I will prepare for you today or tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. It's an exclusive video and I'm sure the topic will be very, very interesting for many of you, for all of you. So today, guys, what do I have for you? What topics we're gonna go through? We're gonna start with Trump talking about sex. Not really, but we're gonna start with this. We will also hear from Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, who is bringing up the topic of, guess what, Agenda 2030. I will give you definitely my comments after that. We will also look at the advertisement, at the commercial that Canada is putting out right now, and that is advertising the suicide. Yes, you heard me correctly. I'm sure many of you are aware of this phenomena going on in the world. There was a story about a girl in Spain. Tragic, absolutely tragic story. You can actually find out, there are many posts about it. She was removed from her household and put into facility where she's supposed to be taken care of, and in that facility she was raped by the gang, and she lived in the state of trauma and depression for a long time, and she requested the government to give her permission to have euthanasia, right? You say euthanasia? Commit suicide? So this is something that is becoming more and more, I don't want to say popular, that's the right word, that's the wrong word, more and more advertised lately or talked about lately. Horrible stuff, right? Now, there is one more thing I really want to bring to your attention today, and that is, you know what was going on with the sun, and still is all around the world, how they are blocking the sun, because from everything, sun is the most important energy we need for health, for brain function, for melatonin production, for your eyesight, for everything, for digestion, for nervous system, as well as the plants, as well as the animals. Sun is crucial. So of course they are blocking the sun with the chemtrails and other things, right? And now I came across a post that I will present to you today, that you can actually order a direct sunlight to your doorstep within 30 minutes. So there is a company that has been recently created, or maybe quite some time ago, but now it's introducing itself, and you can order. First you block the sun, and then you can use this company and order a direct access to sun. Of course, you have to pay for it. It's not for free. And we will end this video with a letter that has been sent to the Polish priests all across the country. And this is the letter. I have to read this because it's complicated description. It's a letter of the Polish Episcopal Conference on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of John Paul II's visit to the major synagogue in Rome. And why I will read some parts of it for you is because in this letter, it's addressed how Jewish people are important, how we should go to visit the synagogue, and many other things. So no surprise at all. Let's start with asking you if you can hit the thumbs up, because it's free of charge and it helps the channel very much. And I'm sure you will appreciate the content. And subscribe if you haven't already. So we're gonna start with Trump. Trump, well, let's just play two videos with Trump. The first one is him mentioning sex. How awkward is this video? And the second one is, it's a different story, but Still very awkward. So let's take a listen.
Thank everybody very much. And I'm asked to take a few questions. Unlike other politicians, they would like the questions screened. I don't ask for screening of the questions. You can ask me anything you want. You can talk sex. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm here for you. Thank everybody very much. And
that flows to American refineries on the Gulf Coast, lowering the price of gas in America. So it's a
forget that. When are they going to do the statue?
that flows to America.
So let's start with the second video, this one that I just stopped on. What statue they are talking about? If you haven't heard that that comment, allegedly in Argentina, sorry, not Argentina, Venezuela, they praise Trump so much and they are grateful to Trump for removing Maduro so much that they actually want to put up the statue in Venezuela of Trump. And here he is saying, because the other guy is talking about the gas prices, and Trump says to forget about gas prices and instead build a statue of him. Yeah, forget about it. Let's talk about statue. Now, the first video, and I was thinking, you remember that moment when he was asked about Epstein, and it was like many months ago, and he said, are we still talking about Epstein? And now he's saying like, excuse me, we can talk about anything. I don't think we can talk about anything, but what a comment, right? What a comment. Now, let me take you to his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Very, very quick video. And I give you my comments after that. We will be addressing 2030 agenda and of course business, because nothing else really matters. Everything is about money and business. So let's take a listen to his son-in-law.
I remember seeing Vision 2030 for the first time when I was in government with Dina Powell, who's here, and I remember saying like, "Wow, all countries should have a business plan. Why don't that's how we do it in business? Why don't countries do that?" So we've worked with the Ukrainians to build a prosperity plan. We brought in BlackRock, who's done an amazing job working with them, and I think the country really can triple their GDP per capita. It has tremendous potential.
You remember, guys, what I've told you in many of my videos recently, that all this Project Ukraine, this is the project. This is, okay, let's start again with, first and foremost, he is Chabad Lubavitch believer from the moment he was born. His father, Charles, I think is his name, Charles Kushner, who is now the ambassador to United States in France, absolutely Chabad Lubavitch worshipper, okay? They donate the money to Chabad. They are operating with the Chabad as far as every decision they make, I believe, has to be blessed. I think what happens is this: they go to those rabbis and they ask for a blessing, and the rabbis tells them, you will be blessed this and that, and that's the vision, and they actually literally donate the money, so they believe they are blessed, and they have those projects and Talmud and other things, of course. But at the end of the day, the more business Kushner makes, the more Chabad receives donation, okay? Plus, it's influence, because it's on the religious level as well. So I'm not surprised at all, because they had this plan for Ukraine, and I play this for you so many times already. Besides the aspect of the Kazaria 2.0, they have this vision for, super duper digital, very modern, kind of like Gaza. That's what they want. And I'm not surprised. Why shall I be surprised? This is all about money. Now, the next project is Cuba. As Trump said, Cuba is next. Let's go to as far as Cuba and Sun. Let's go to this post. So they are spraying us with all this shit, right? The chemtrails, all this stuff. They are spraying us with it, blocking the sun, blocking the access to life-giving force, the energy. But then they come up with the solution. So what is the solution, everyone? This is like literally in your face.
Just when you think it can't get better. So let me get this straight. We're going to spray the ever-living hell out of humanity's skies all over the world, by the way, whether it's flat or whether it's round, to not only block the sun, that vitamin D that is essential for every living thing on planet Earth, along with weather warfare, which not only can destroy any city they want, but with droughts. Then we're going to now promote a random startup company that's going to let you order at the click of a button, direct sunlight, at least they say that, right to your door for just a few $1,000s an hour.
Don't have to bring anything on a truck. You just hit a button and you can get some light from space. And it's not very expensive. It's a couple $1,000s an hour, and that's about it. And you can use it for as long as you want. Each one of these little satellites is reflecting sunlight to a customer around the world. And I'm going to share a little bit more about who those customers are and how you can get this sunlight. You want to make it as easy as possible for people. So you can imagine using an app and bringing sunlight over to your exact location, wherever you are, in under 30 seconds at the touch of a button. All we have to do is rotate satellites and reflect the sunlight that's passing by us in space.
You got to give it to the globalists. Brilliant.
So what can I say? Do you think I'm surprised? I'm not surprised, but all of it, it's literally in people's faces. This is just unbelievable. If this is another thing to wake people up and to present them what the heck is going on, but people still don't believe. They don't believe that there are chemtrails. A lot of people do, but I personally, when I have conversations with people, and I bring this all the time, that they manipulate the weather, a lot of people completely unaware of it, like zero clue. They think it's just some strange circumstance that we don't have sun for about 3 months or so. It's the same color of sky. I think maybe it's not normal, but they don't think anyone is creating that. But now you can order. How crazy is this, right? Like, is it even possible? Is it even possible? All right, let's go to another crazy, absolutely satanic, demonic thing, and that is Canada advertising suicide. So let's take a look at this absolutely pure, demonic, satanic agenda.
The Canadian government is now running ads trying to convince people to take their own lives. This is not a joke. What I'm about to show you is an actual ad from the Canadian government.
Sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
So not only is the Canadian government offering people the supplies needed and the medical assistance that they need to take their own lives, they are now trying to convince people to come and take that action. Right now, we're looking at more than 15,000 people per year taking their own lives with government assistance. And now that they're running ads for it, that number is only going to increase. Not only that, but many of the people who are taking their own lives aren't even doing it because they choose to. They are being pressured by family members, by doctors, by friends. It is horrible. Countless patients have also reported that the doctors are bringing up medical assistance in dying before the patient even mentions it, which means that the doctors are telling people to do this before it's ever even brought up by the patient. Every human, every single human, no matter how sad you might be feeling, no matter how horrible you think your life is, you are deserving of the dignity of life. It cannot be taken away from you. You should not take it away from yourself. And the government definitely should not be trying to convince you to take it away. Outside of abortion, medical assistance in dying is one of the most evil things that we are doing in today's world. It needs to be put to an end. We could save thousands of lives every single month if we end this horrible, horrible practice. It is disgusting. God bless.
So here I want to say a few things from my perspective, and this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with this. Of course, first and foremost, I see this as one of the way how they execute the plan to shrink the population on this planet. That is obvious. But something that I want to share with you comes from my spiritual approach to it. You know, I believe that our soul has a plan when we are born. One of my favorite books, if not my favorite book ever, is the book that truly impacted me, and I have to read it again because sometimes I forget about it, is Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz. Many, many years ago, he actually was a guest on my channel. So if you go to search on my channel, Robert Schwartz, you find 2 interviews with him that I had. I believe that our soul has a plan, and that is something that we might not remember most of the time or understand during our life as we are living it. But I feel there is a crucial decision to fulfill that plan. It might not always be exactly how we plan it to turn out, but we have a purpose and we have a plan. I don't know if that is part of your soul's plan, because this is interfering or influencing someone's decision that might actually create this loop for you to keep on coming back. I know it's controversial for many of you to repeat the same cycle and the same lessons over and over and over again. Just my perception, my perspective, and my belief system. Plus, I don't know if this is really good that you end your life. Did I ever think about it in my life? Of course I did. I think most of us had. I struggled with depression for many years, and it's something that many of you also can understand. But somehow, the most beautiful things in my life were actually happening after I, by grace of God, literally overcame that depression moments. So when my time comes, and I think this is what they are doing, is absolutely to limit the population. And this is just, I don't know. I don't know how this can even be official and government can approve things like this, but those are satanic beings, you know, those are creatures who are placed in the positions to execute those kind of plans. Now, since we are talking about satanic, let's go to West Bank for a moment and let's take a look how they are treating the store that they just took possession of it, because there is no respect for human life, so why there should be any respect for the objects?
כל המודעות, כל המנה פנים. הראשון, שלוש באלה. תמיד גזר בי לקטנות. יחידות ב1,000 שקל. ראש, 4,500. בבית ספר. מגברות, 10 ב1,000. התלמידה המצטיינת, התחברנו, 250 שקלים. עד כה, בכל בג'בליה. כל המודעות, כל המנה פנים. הראשון, 3 ב1,000.
So what does this supposed to do, right? How does this help him? How programmed the person like this is to think that this is normal? You know, a lot of things like this video, for example, I was not aware of not long time ago, actually, a few years ago. Sometimes when you don't know how evil people can be, and this is not the most brutal video, of course, but it just shows you, it's one of the examples how people operate. That's why I always say dogs are the best, because people, not most, a lot of people are very, very dark. Since we are talking about the darkness, I'm going to read you a letter now. A lot of criticism has been received. Let me just find the right link. A lot of criticism has been received. This letter received a lot of criticism because this is a next level, everyone. Let me see if it's translated. Yeah, I have to translate it, so just give me a moment. Here we go. The letter of the Polish Episcopal Conference on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of John Paul II visit to the major synagogue in Rome. So this letter is supposed to be read during the Mass, I think today, or maybe even a week ago. Very important letter, and a lot of priests refuse to read this, because this letter is addressing the religion, the Judaism, and is addressing the Jewish people. And how is this addressing that? I will give you just a few moments here, a few parts to read this for you. Just let me start with this. What is this about? On 13th April this year, so 2026, 40 years will have passed since the day when the Bishop of Rome, the successor of St. Peter, that was John Paul II, crossed the threshold of a Jewish house of prayer for the first time since the apostolic times. The bishops remind in the letter of the Polish Episcopal Conference on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of John Paul II visit to the Greater Synagogue in Rome. So John Paul II went to the wall, everyone. If you don't know, maybe I should show you before we end this video. I don't know if he was the first pope. I think maybe that he went to Jerusalem to kiss. I don't know if he kissed the wall, but he touched the wall. So what is in this letter? One of such a deadly deficits of love was, and unfortunately still is, anti-Semitism. But even from this depth, the Lord has led us and is leading us out, especially in the last 60 years, thanks to events that we feel obligated to remind all of us. On October 28, 1965, the Second Vatican Council adopted the declaration Nostra Aetae, in our time, Aetate in our time, which speaks about the attitude of the church towards non-Christian religions. It contains words that have become a turning point in relations between the Catholic Church and the Jews and Judaism. It was to them that John Paul II referred, because he's Saint John Paul II referred in his speech in the Synagogue of Rome, let us recall his words today. First, this is John Paul II talking. The Church of Christ discovers its connection with Judaism by delving into its own mystery. The Jewish religion is not external to our religion, but in a certain way internal. So we have relationships with it that we don't have with any other religion. You are our beloved brothers, and in a way, you could say our older brothers. And he goes through things here. But what I want to read is the very end of this. So if you have time, this is the letter and you can read it. But let me just read you this suggestion for the Polish believers, what they should do. Okay, the last part. In many towns, sometimes right next to us, sometimes a little further away, there are synagogues that have survived the turmoil of war. In most of them, the voice of joyful Sabbath prayer no longer resounds today. However, there are also those that are teeming with religious life. Following in the footsteps of Saint John Paul II, let's visit the synagogue on April 13. Let us remember the men and women whose prayers have soaked the walls of synagogues for centuries. And where possible, let us meet with Jewish sisters and brothers, remembering that we always pray for them in the Good Friday liturgy, asking God that the people whom He first acquired as His property may grow in fidelity to His covenant and be able to attain the fullness of redemption. For there is no doubt that the Jews are partakers of God's salvation. But how can this be possible without a clear confession of Christ? It is and it will remain the unfathomable mystery of God. May Mary, the mother of our Lord, the chosen daughter of Israel, sustain us with her prayer. Yeah, so what do you think, everyone? What do you think of this letter? Let me stop sharing this. A lot of priests were very disturbed by it. I think I was showing this to you because I'm not sure if I am not surprised actually at all. We have Chabad Lubavitch in Poland, so just go on the official website and you see where they are. So now I actually want to show you something. Let's look into this before we end this video to wrap it up. So let's take a look at John Paul II. I don't know if you're seeing this. So let me double check. Let me see if you're seeing this because I am on a... Yes, you are seeing this. So here is John Paul II, everyone. He went to the wall. Now let me see because I didn't do my little research, which I apologize. John Paul II. It was on March 26, 2000. He made a historic visit to the Western Wall in Jerusalem. He was the first Pope to visit the site, which is Judaism's holiest prayer location. There are many other things, but I don't want to talk about it anymore as far as John Paul II goes. So here we go. The wall test. You remember the tests? Wall is definitely the test, and connection with Chabad Lubavitch is another test, which is pretty much the same thing. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I welcome your comments. And thank you for subscribing, hitting thumbs up, sharing the video. If you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's AniaK_44, the link you find down below. If you would like to see exclusive videos that I post, you can become my Patreon and Locals supporter, and you find them there. You can donate on PayPal if you choose to support my work, and also consider buying the books for children that I have written. And with this being said, guys, lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you next video is on Patreon and Locals. Bye, everyone.